Right, hello, I'm Debs. This is Debs with this. Welcome. This is Friday Sews. So I thought I would just pop on and do a quick Friday Sews to update you with some of the things that have been happening. I realised I'd got a couple of things that I hadn't spoken to you about because I think I did a makes video last week. So, and if I don't tell you now, I'll forget. So we'll crack on. I've got a couple of works in progress, a piece of fabric, some bits and pieces, and what the next kind of plans are to share with you. First thing I've got to show you is actually a finished make. Let me pop that one there. So I don't know that you'll be able to see, so I'll put in a picture. I don't have a picture of me in this yet, but it's coming is the short answer. So this is, I'm hoping if I do that, it might get into shot. This is the Eucalyptus Jumpsuit by Deer & Doe. It has an open back. See, there is elastic into the bottom of the shorts there, and so that you get a nice kind of breeze at the back. This is made from a very old vintage duvet cover that belonged to my Auntie Anne and was kind of like a bit of a toile and a bit of a kind of fun play on like kind of candy striper uniform, I suppose, but I just thought this would be good fun. If I get chance, I will put a picture of me in it. I'm pleased with this. There is a different bodice, so there is a sleeveless version which has a much higher arm's eye. So I'm quite pleased that there is a different shape to that because the bodice on this is quite oversized. So I think the sleeveless one will probably look a lot more kind of formal, I suppose, a lot more sophisticated, and I have visions of doing that I've got a deep forest green Atelier Brunette Dobby viscose, which I think would look really nice in that. So yeah, whether that'll be this year or not, whether might work for a Christmas make, mightn't it? Sorry to say that word so early, but yeah. So yes, I'm pleased with that, and I've just used some wooden buttons from my stash because I went to Dutton's to try and get some ones that were better. You can see I played with the stripes a little bit by doing the horizontal stripe around, so that kind of was a pleasing thing to do. But I haven't actually got it was a single duvet cover and I haven't actually got very much of the fabric left. Next thing I finished is a toile. I shall show you this as well. This is literally made from, I had literally scraps and I've had to piece things together. But this is the toile for my Sauvie Sundress by Soho 7, and I'm really pleased with this. It sits so beautifully. Sorry, that was the mic, wasn't it? It sits so beautifully on the chest. Yeah, really pleased with that. And you can see, like, I literally had no scraps left, so I've done kind of the smallest facing I could get away with. I did think about just doing like making bias tape, but actually I didn't really have enough to do that with either. And I thought, well, I just need to know how that fits. So what I did was use the facing pieces as the main body piece, and actually it will work fine as a little PJ top to sleep in. It has these really neat little V's front and back, which are just lovely, fits really nice, so that bows really well. So the plan was to make that, I don't know how well, it's night time and I've got the ring light on, so I don't know how well the colour will show up on this. So the plan was to make the dress version with the straight hem, i.e. not the ruffle at the bottom, but with the straight split hem and elastic in this really deep pink. Oh, look how nice that looks with the green. With this deep pink, what did Ruth tell me? Brushed viscose, I think she said it was. I can't remember. I'll try and remember to put it down below. But anyway, that's what that's going to be. So the next thing that I've kind of finished is actually a hand sewn garment. So I made this, which is the assembly line cuff sleeve top, which number 2 version of, which I have done a forward shoulder adjustment. Again, I cut the front on the fold rather than putting a seam, but I have done the seam on the back. And I did this entirely by hand on the last holiday that we went on. I'm really enjoying that, taking a little sewing kit and just kind of hand stitching things. I cut them out before I go, and I do fuse any interfacing before I go. And the only thing I got stuck with was the elastic, because I hadn't really thought about the fact that I was going to need to sew the elastic in. this top has you sew the elastic around the outside and then turn it under and then stitch it again. But I've just stitched it. It was fine. It wasn't a problem. And then I think I might do a little bit of extra to this. So I went and got some Gutermann quilting cotton. So that's coated with it's got a wax coating on it, I think, which is supposed to make it easier to sew with. And I thought I would probably do some decorative stitching around the facing and maybe down the seam. But I don't know if you can see. So there's quite a lot of pieced pieces, and I was kind of umming and ahhing about whether to do some decorative hand stitching to kind of emphasize those piece bits. And also because I French seamed it, turn it inside out so you can see. So I French seamed it, which is obviously, if you're hand sewing it anyway, you may as well French seam it, mightn't you? So it means there are French seams on the inside, but the white con thread that I took with me was actually a bit thicker than I've used before. I'm not sure where it came from, but it means that my stitches are not quite as invisible as they would normally be, which is why I thought I might do those decorative stitches and kind of flat felt those French seams so that the French seam of the shoulder is then got like a flat felled stitch down it in one of those colours. So yeah, let me know what you think about that as an idea. I probably will do another hand sewing make to take away with it. I'm just umming and ahhing about whether I do. I was thinking maybe a nocturne. Top by So Liberated, or a Cali, maybe in I've got some Nanny Eero double gauze that I think I showed you recently, but that's been in my stash for ages. But I just thought I might do that, but we'll see. Just ordered a book. I can't remember what it's called. I'll link it down below. But it's a book about hand sewing, and the lady was a guest on Zoe at Check Your Thread. I think it was number 147 or 147, I think, which is all about hand sewing, and she talked about hand sewing knits. So I thought that sounded quite interesting. So I've ordered her book from Beyond Measure, which is a little shop in Yorkshire owned by a lady called Grace, who's really lovely. They have the most beautiful, if ever you need a present for somebody who sews or knits, that's the place to go. They have a really nice online shop, but in person it's got this little tiny shop, but it's so beautifully curated. Everything is just gorgeous. So I thought if I was going to get the book, I did think about just downloading the PDF, but I thought I can have the book. I can treat myself to the hand sewing book. So that's coming. So when that comes, I shall let you know how that is. But yes, so another hand sewing thing will occur when we go on holiday again. The other one that's a work in progress, I know it's unusual for me to have a work in progress, but I was waiting for buttons for this one. So this is, well, it's what I've got on. It's my very grubby dungarees. I do apologise. So these are Yantas, as are the ones that I've made. These actually belong to my eldest child, and I stole them back because mine didn't fit, and I was getting a bit frustrated with not having a pair to wear. But these are my kind of dog walking, cleaning, sorting everything out kind of dungarees. I feel like I'm going to get stuff done when I have a pair of good dungarees on. So these are my new pair of Yantas, which are a work in progress. They are waiting for buttons and to be hemmed. I think I've done nearly everything else. I haven't finished off the strap because I haven't put the buttons on. I haven't put, as you can put an optional zip in the side seam on these. But no, they're coming along nicely. This is a kind of moderate mid-weight linen, which came from Wild Orchid when Wild Orchid showed fabric. So I've had that in my stash for, I think it's from 2020. I did look the other day and I've forgotten. And then I've done that lining with that little bit of that ruby star that was left over from a blouse. So I've got a blouse in that. And I know it doesn't match perfectly, but I think it's quite nice. And I just love having a flash of something unexpected on the inside. I don't think I did any adjustments to this. I think I made a straight size 12 or 14. It's in my diary. And it is a bit big. It's a bit kind of fits me at the waist, and then it's kind of hanging a little bit. But I think I'm probably going to just wear it for a while and then make a decision about whether I'm going to put a zip in it or not. There are instructions for putting a zip in it, but I'd just rather not if I can get away with it. Just because it just changes the kind of vibe of it. I also haven't done, normally I do embroidery on the back pocket, and I haven't done any embroidery on the back pocket. I do have there's a couple of iron-on patches stitched wandering about. So yeah, I might do that instead. We might do that. So they are very nearly finished. Now I have joined the 30 Make 30 challenge. Do you know, I can't remember what the name of the challenge is. I think it's something like that. The idea is that you sew 30 yards of fabric before you buy any more. I did meters last time I did it in 2021 and it worked really well for me. I think it just gets you out of the habit of thinking that you might purchase things when they pop up, and you can still appreciate how beautiful fabric is, but you're not looking at it with, shall I buy this? You know, that's just not in your head at all. So it worked really well. So I figure I've got 190 meters, I think, on my spreadsheet. So that's everything. With the exception, I think there's one upholstery fabric and one duvet cover that's not on it, but I think everything else is on it. Yeah, I'm going to see how I get on. Before that started, so that started on the 7th or the 8th of August, but we were on the way across to Wales on holiday, and we stopped at a place called Empress Mills, which has been an online fabric shop for years and years, but they've recently opened their warehouse to the public, so it isn't like a fancy shop. It's not curated or like pretty. It is literally that their warehouse is open, and I kind of popped in just out of curiosity really, and it's at Colne in Lancashire, which is like at the end of the motorway as you're going across from my house to Wales. It was like literally on the way. So I came out, I'm not quite sure, I think my plan was that this was going to be a pair of Yantas, and I've kind of slightly gone off the idea, but only because I suddenly decided it was perhaps a bit close to my skin tone. I did have a pair of mauve Yantas before, but in a slightly lighter weight fabric, but yeah, I'm sure I will find good use for this. It's a really nice, it's got a real texture to it. It's supposed to be a linen viscose, is what it was labelled as. But it's got a really nice texture to it, in this really pretty mauvey pink colour, which is quite nice. So I got a couple of meters of that, although I think I got a little bit more because there was a bit more left on the bolt, so I think she gave me that for good measure. Now the only other thing I bought, I've left upstairs, so I will put a picture in, but I bought a jelly roll. And don't worry, I'm not going to start quilting. Well, I might be going to start quilting. So Teresa at Lost My Thread, and so Sarah Sewed, is she called? A lovely Australian lady. They're doing a challenge of the Standing Tall Quilt Challenge at the moment, which is a pattern by the Cedar Quilt Company, which is owned by Helen of Helen's Closet, which is a free pattern, and they're doing a challenge at the moment. I was just loving seeing all the colours on my screen, and I thought, you know, that might be a really nice thing to do as it comes into like the end of the year. So I kind of bought it in order to do that challenge, but not to do it when they're doing it, but to do it in a little while, because I thought having a really colourful quilt, and I'll probably just do like the throw size one, having never quilted anything before. Yeah, but if you've done that challenge, let me know if you've made that quilt. Oh, I've told you a fib actually. I have once made a quilt. I made a quilt for my mum. She died 12 years ago, bless her. But no, I made a quilt for my mum when I first went to university. I hand sewed a single quilt for my mum when I went to university. So I have made a quilt before, but it was a very long time ago. Yeah, so I got that fabric, and I didn't buy anything else apart from the jelly roll. Now the other things that I've had recently, I was buying, I think this came when I bought the dog pattern that I showed you last week or the week before, and I have rebought this. So this is the Vogue 1645, which is a difficult jumpsuit. I love it when they call it advanced. It's a Rachel Comey jumpsuit, and I had this still have this pattern in the smaller size, but when I started to look at doing a toile, and I realised that I probably needed the large size, so I needed the other size bracket, which was slightly frustrating. I mean, I probably could have managed, but I think this is going to be complicated enough without trying to grade it up. But I shall show you that. So this has been on my radar to make for years and years and years. I have the fabric for it. So I need to just crack on. So I'm obviously still scratching my itch slightly. So the other thing I went to was on Thursday. Our kind of craft recycling centre, which is called the Cone Exchange in Harrogate, has a really good supply of things. It's normally closed in the summer holidays, but they had a special vintage sale, and so I went along with my daughter after she picked up her A-level results to go and see if we could see anything interesting. And what I bought from the vintage part was this little set of Liberty buttons. And these were £2, I think. And they're really pretty. They've got like a gold edge and then like a kind of pink and orangey kind of mottled appearance. I don't know whether they'll show. I'll put a picture in if they don't. And the other thing, while I was there, I was allowed to like mooch around the normal stuff. So they have things that are like of all ages. And these definitely feel like they've got some age to them. So I really like those. So I picked those up. I might replace the orange ones with the yellow ones with these actually, because I don't really like the yellow ones. But I found these, and do you know, the edge colour matches really nicely with my dungaree. So they might be what goes on there. They're kind of navy, the rest of it, and then they've got that little rim of the paler blue. So I thought they were a good match. So we went with those. So, upcoming plans. Let me know what your upcoming plans are. I obviously need to finish my Yantas, ready for holiday. I've got a plan to make a Stasia tee because I don't have enough white t-shirts. And I also have ready to go this lovely Rachel Parker, which is very creased. Sorry, it's been at the bottom of a pile, which I want to make the Saturday set shirt with. And this twill, which was supposed to be a pair of, showed you this on my summer plans, which I'll put up there, but that's supposed to be a pair of smart shorts, and I don't know whether I'll get that done or not. We'll see. I've got about 10 or 12 days before we, perhaps not even that, perhaps a week before we go. So I probably won't realistically get everything done, but as long as I get my dungarees finished, all will probably be well. So let me know what you've been up to. Are you having some time off sewing while it's been the summer, or are you still finding some projects to do? Have you hand sewn things before? I'll link as well to my summer vibes dress and top tips for hand sewing projects. I find it really relaxing, and so I'm really hopeful that I shall get something out of this new book that's coming. So I hope I haven't galloped through that lot too quickly, and if I've missed anything out, just shout me. I shall try and link the things down below. And the lovely Sian from Kittenish Behaviour has shown me how to do chapters, so I shall try and put some chapters on. And just let me know if it's, put a comment in and let me know whether it's worked or not. Right, so I'm here at Empress Mills in Colne, which is between Yorkshire and Wales, which is where we're on the way to. So I thought you might like a little look around. I've asked the lady and she said it was all right. So I'll turn you around and show you where they are. So when you come in, it is quite big and there's a lot of stuff. And they have bag making stuff, quilting stuff, accessories. They're very nice ladies who cut things and help you. I have my husband, there you go, a carrier of things, and some haberdashery, some kind of scrap table. If I lived close to here, I would be in there and rummaging, I'm sure. Habby, lots of prim stuff, and then lots of quilt and cotton, some Tilda, and then we found jersey, and I bought they've got planes, everyone's so glad. So all the way down there. So they've only been open as a shop for a couple of weeks, I think, but if you're about, there's nothing like going and putting your hands on things. I'll just take you down and show you the linens and bits, so you can see there's a lot. And it is probably a good job we don't live any closer. But I think it's only taken us about 45 minutes today. So, yep. They're all the kind of linens and linen blends, and then some jerseys as well. So that's your little whiz round. I'd recommend it. It's tricky to know where everything is. I don't know what the system is, and some of the things are priced up and some are not priced up, but the staff have been lovely and have helped me, and I shall show you later on what I've bought. Okay, I shall catch you later. Bye bye for now. There you go. So I hope you are finding time to rest and replenish and do some making if that's something that brings you joy, and I shall say bye bye for now and God bless, and I'll see you again soon.